Hi Mermaid Junkies, how are you? Oh my gosh, I'm on a tangent, another tangent, but this is a good tangent because it's like all the videos, I'm just like swiping them out. Anyway, okay, so this video is going to be titled Secrets to a Swimmingly Wonderful Relationship. Now this is a good one. Everybody can use this. I can even use this, and I'm always having to go through and use my own teachings. Okay, so number one, have you ever noticed in the beginning of a relationship, and I know that you probably haven't encountered this within yourself, because I know I have, is that in the beginning of a relationship, you always only see the beautiful aspects of that person, right? It's blissful, you're loving them, anything they do is cute, you think they're fantastic or fantastic, but you're always only seeing those positive aspects of that person, and that's a beautiful thing. And you know why that is? It's because guess what? You're in alignment. That means that you are in connection with your higher self, your inner being, God, source, universe. That's why you feel so blissful and beautiful, because you are in connection with your inner being. And that means that you are seeing this person that you were in love with, you are seeing them the exact same way that source sees them. That's why you feel such, exhilarating emotions attached to that person in the beginning. Okay, so you're in alignment. You're in complete alignment. That is why it's so beautiful. I mean, and who doesn't want to feel that way all the time? Well, guess what? When you're with your soulmate, you do feel that way all the time. Well, I won't say all the time, but I will say a majority of the time. If you're practicing law of attraction, because law of attraction is the way to go. I mean, I'm telling you, it helps you to understand the secrets of what we're here for, what this universe is all about, why we are here experiencing mortality. And it's a beautiful, beautiful way of learning about yourself and learning about why things happen. And if you're the kind of person that's, I'll just say this and then I'll get back onto the topic. But if you're the kind of person, and I've always been this kind of person, I was this way as a little girl. I was always getting in trouble because I was asking too many questions. But you know what? That is a part of our expansion in our true inner guidance system, showing us that we are always into expansion. That is what we're here for, is to experience the physicality of mortality as humans, because that's the only way that we can expand, right? Until we're back with consciousness. And so we're always, I mean, most of the time, that's why little children are so in alignment with source, is because they're inquisitive. Have you ever noticed little children always ask questions? They don't want to know everything. But you know what? Over time, they're conditioned out of that. Stop asking questions. Quit asking questions. Sit there and shut up. I mean, have you ever noticed that? But anyway, that's the beautiful thing, is that you're always wanting to expand in life. Everybody does. And when you're not, that's why you're feeling emotions that don't feel good. That means you're out of alignment, because source is wanting you to expand, but you're not willing to go. So anyway, okay, I totally went off on, I'm sorry about that, you guys. But anyway, okay, so that was the one thing, is that when you're in a great relationship and you see, that's the one thing, is that you're in alignment because you see that person with all these beautiful qualities and beautiful and wonderful aspects of that person. Okay, so when I talk about vortex is all the things in life that we have collectively put into sort of like a vibrational escrow, kind of like an escrow over here. So say, for instance, I always wanted someone, in my past experience, I always wanted someone that was going to be very attentive to me and very verbally expressive about their feelings and stuff, because I never had that as a child, right? So as I'm going through my childhood and expanding and having all of these things put into my vibrational escrow, which is my vortex, I'm putting those things out there, and source is going to give those things to me. Does that make any sense? Because basically what you're doing is you're quietly, subconsciously asking for things like, okay, well, I never had someone to pay attention to me, so I really want someone to pay attention to me. And so you're putting that in your escrow account, vibrational escrow account, but it's real. It really is all real. But that's what you're doing, is you're putting that in there. So the other thing that we need to realize to have a really good relationship is a wonderful relationship is that we need to take complete and utter responsibility for all of our emotions and feelings that we have on a personal basis. Because when I'm getting pissed at Jeffrey, say for instance, because he said something maybe that I didn't like, or he expressed his feelings about a particular subject and I was like, I don't agree with that, you know. But I've, you know, what's so funny is that I've learned to just to not activate things, because like, here's a good rule of thumb, and I have this on my refrigerator at the house, is that if you don't think that you will be accepting and like the answer to a question, don't ever ask it. It's like, it's the whole thing of don't activate things that you don't want to have a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many people just they go through life and don't realize that you're activating shit you don't even need to by paying attention to it. Am I saying put your head in the sand and act like that's not happening? Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. You create your reality. So stop focusing on this negative shit that, say, your companion is doing, because all you're going to do is activate that shit and make it out of control. I mean, you're going to create a freaking forest fire out of a stupid little teeny you know, Bic lighter, if that makes any sense. Don't activate that shit. That's what people do in relationships all the time. It's like, oh, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I didn't like you said that. You need to change your tune. You need to change what you said, Jeffrey. No, you can't do that, because you're never going to get to the bottom of anything in a relationship like that when you do that. I'm just telling you right here and now, it don't work. So anyway, that number 3 is take responsibility for all of your emotions that you are feeling, because you know what, really, when it comes down to it, it's all about us. I don't know how many times I have to keep saying that, but I'm going to keep saying it, right? We have to own our own emotions by understanding it is my work, it's my job, Raquel's job, to attune to being my best self. And that is going to be regardless of what someone does, your partner in a relationship, in your relationship, regardless of what they do. You have to be in touch with your own and attune with your own feelings. You can't ask your companion or your partner to ever change the way that they believe or think about something in order for you to feel good, because once again, that is living a conditional way of life. It's like, okay, don't do what you want to do. Jeffrey, don't feel the way that you feel, because I need you to feel differently. I need you to feel like I feel, because you're making me not feel good right now. And it's not his job to make me feel good. It's my job to attune myself to my best inner being. So, number 4, be responsible for your own feelings and emotions. It's not your companion's job to do that. It's your job. It's all about coming back to who you really are. I think so many times in relationships, we end up not wanting to, there's people over there like, what is that woman doing? Anyway, I think in many relationships, it's our job, it's my job also, to not ever see those flaws in my partner. And I say that because you're like, well, that's easy for you to say, you know, or whatever, like, but once again, we want to go back to Source doesn't see the flaws in my companion. Source doesn't see the flaws in your companion. You might see them all day long, but you know what? That's because you're not in alignment. And so when you're not in alignment with God or Source, you're out of alignment. So you're not going to see things the way that God sees them. But our goal is to be in alignment as much as we possibly can. Now, no, we're not going to be in alignment all the time. I'm going to cuss someone out yesterday and then, you know, go on with my own life because I'm going to think, okay, well, that probably wasn't the best thing to do. But you know what? I'm going to get back into alignment and it's okay. Like, there's this whole thing of everybody puts this huge, heavy weight on themselves of like, oh, and then I'm going to feel guilty, and oh my gosh, can you believe that I said that to that girl, and oh my gosh, I did this and this and this and this, and oh, God's going to be so disappointed. I'm going to be punished for this. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's all your own conditioning, the way that you've been brought up maybe, or you know, over the centuries of man being conditioned out of alignment. Because Source does not look at the same situations the same way that you do. It's all been a conditioning process. They conditioned us. I mean, our parents were well-intended, and society is well-intended, and you know, all these religious people were well-intended, but half the time when they were saying do this and do that, it's totally out of alignment. It was totally out of alignment. They're all human, so we all screw up and mess up and beep, you know. So that's the true nature of it. Okay, so another one, I'm not going to do numbers, you guys, because, you know, I get so ADD, and half the time I write like little hearts on my things, and I don't even use numbers. So I'm just going to go with my little hearts, okay? And the next thing is that we must get to a place in our relationship that we don't need that particular person, that partner, to change. I find it so beautiful because I know that I'm in alignment when I see Jeffrey. I'm using Jeffrey because as an example, because, like, you know, experience teaches, right? And I will honestly admit that I didn't do this with my past relationships. I really didn't. And you know, but it is what it is, right? So I find it so beautiful to work at not ever needing Jeffrey to ever change a thing about him. Like, I've never expected or asked him to change one single thing about himself since I've met him or started talking with him. I know I dart around a lot too, you guys, because, anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. Because it's our job to appreciate and love and respect that person the way that Source sees that person. And Source always sees Jeffrey as perfect. And, you know, once again, this is a very, very, like, this is diving deep into consciousness, you know, when I'm saying all these things, because it's not normality for people to think on this type of wavelength. But anyway, okay, so that next one is that we need to work at not expecting or wanting that other person to change. But I can tell you that isn't that the way most relationships are, is that they start seeing, when they're out of alignment, they start seeing that companion as like, ugh, what a bitch. She needs to do this and she needs to do that, and she doesn't do that, and he's such a dick. I mean, he doesn't do this, and he's such a jerk, and, you know, whatever, and he does this, and, oh, he drinks too much, or, oh my God, he, you know, he's racist, or he's this, or he's that, or he doesn't spend time with the kids, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like everybody, you start to nitpick and find all of those things. But guess what? Once again, you're out of alignment with Source. So it's our job to not want our companion to ever need to change for us, because once again, we're wanting someone else to change their condition so that we can feel better, and that's not their job. It never was their job to feather our nest. We didn't come here for someone to feather our nest. We came here to figure it out, to work it out. And the last one is that we need to gradually become the kind of person that we are able to, no matter what, focus ourselves into loving our mates no matter what. And when you realize, like, law of attraction and understanding those concepts of that, sorry, I'm going to fix this. It's a beautiful, exciting, actually, because it's kind of, it gives you something to work on. Like, it's fun, it's exciting, it's challenging, you know, like, oh my goodness, I think I'm out of alignment. I want to get back into alignment. How do I do that? And whatever. But like I was saying before in the very beginning of this video, is that I'm a girl that's always been inquisitive and always wanted to know the questions, I mean, the answers to all these different questions in the universe. And I've been so inquisitive since I was a little teeny girl. And so I think that's why I love law of attraction so much, is because it really has helped give me a sense of direction. Whereas there's so many questions that I always had, even in religion. I always had these questions like, this doesn't make sense, or like, this, I don't get this, or like, this just doesn't. It's like our own inner guidance system. It's consciousness knowing that we're not on the right level. Like there's something missing. I mean, have you ever felt like that? Like there's something missing. And I think until I found law of attraction and started Abraham Hicks teachings and stuff like that, and I became into more of an expansion within myself, I think I started to realize exactly, like, it all makes sense now. It completely and utterly makes sense. And so I'm so happy about that. Like, I'm happy about everything. I'm happy about everything in life and everything. I see everything as a wonderful opportunity for growth and expansion. And I hope that these little things, these little tidbits of information about having a swimmingly beautiful relationship was helpful and that it served you. And as always, I'm yours until my next swim. Ciao!